My mother didn't even blink when she delivered the blow. There was no hesitation, no softening of the blow, just a cold, hard stare through the pixelated grid of our family Zoom call. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "We don't want to see your face at her graduation." My sister, Riley, sat in her little video square and smirked. My father, Victor, just looked away, unable to meet my gaze. In that split second, something inside me, something I had been holding together for years with tape and glue, finally snapped. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't ask them why they were treating me this way. Instead, I simply reached for the one thing they never thought I would have the courage to take back. They wanted me gone? Fine. But they forgot that I was the one paying for the very stage my sister was about to walk across. They thought they were just cutting a guest from the list. They didn't realize they were cutting the power cord to their entire lifestyle. What I did next didn't just ruin a party, it exposed a lifetime of lies. Before we continue the story and I tell you exactly how I dismantled their entitlement, please tell me in the comments what your name is and where you are listening from. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for such amazing content. We build this community together, and I want to hear from you. My name is Amber, and for as long as I can remember, I believed that keeping the peace meant keeping my mouth shut. I grew up in a household where love wasn't a feeling, it was a transaction. In my family, affection was measured by obligations. The rule was unspoken but clear: the person who gave the most was expected to ask for the absolute least. My mother, Lorraine, was the sun. She was the center of our universe, and everyone else was just debris orbiting around her. My father, Victor, existed entirely within her gravity, never challenging her, never standing up. And then there was Riley, my younger sister. She bloomed in the warmth of my mother's attention, while I learned how to survive in the shade. In my 20s, I moved to Seattle. I got a job in finance tech, chasing a paycheck and a sense of independence I didn't truly understand yet. But distance didn't break the pattern. Even from 1,000 miles away, the dynamic was exactly the same. It started the week I landed my first real job. Lorraine called me. She sounded proud, but there was that familiar exhaustion in her voice. She told me Riley's tuition bill had arrived and asked if I could help, just this once. I said yes. I didn't even think about it. It was automatic. But once turned into every semester. It turned into textbooks, meal plans, and every off-campus expense Riley needed to have the perfect college experience. Riley never thanked me. Not once. Lorraine stopped asking, she just expected it. And Victor? He kept the peace by staying invisible. Whenever I tried to set a boundary, my mother would sigh with this heavy disappointment, the kind that makes you feel like a terrible person for even thinking about your own bank account. I remember one Christmas clearly. I had saved up to buy Riley a laptop. It was a good one, meant to help her with her studies. She unwrapped it, looked at the screen, and sneered. "Oh," she said. "I thought it was the Pro model." Lorraine just laughed and patted her hand. "Maybe next year, sweetie," she said. I swallowed the hurt. I pushed it down deep. But the message that finally broke me came a few months later. Lorraine had left her phone on the counter during a visit, and a text popped up from my aunt. My aunt had asked why I was paying for everything. My mother's reply was a smiley face and a single sentence: "She pays because she's gullible. Let her. Some people are born to be the stars, some are born to be the ATM." I didn't confront her then. I carried that knowledge like a bruise hidden under my clothes. I kept paying because I thought if I made myself useful enough, eventually, they would have to love me. So, when that Zoom call started and I saw Lorraine's tight jaw and Riley's pitying eyes, I felt that old bruise throbbing. But this time was different. The days leading up to the call felt heavy, like the low pressure before a thunderstorm. Riley had been quiet, which usually meant she was plotting something. Lorraine had been sending me short, clipped messages demanding to know if the tuition payment had gone through. No please. Never please. But the real unease started when my bank flagged unusual activity. I got a call from a fraud specialist. A credit card in my name, one I had opened years ago for emergency groceries and had completely forgotten about, had suddenly racked up thousands of dollars in charges. I looked at the statement. Designer heels. A gold bracelet. A weekend shopping spree. The total was nearly $4,000. My stomach dropped. I hadn't touched that card in years. But I knew exactly who had. When I called Lorraine to ask about it, she actually laughed. "You're being dramatic," she said. "Riley needed a few things for graduation week. Don't ruin the moment." Ruin the moment. As if I was the villain for asking why they were stealing from me. That night, shaking with adrenaline, I did a full audit of my finances. It wasn't just the one card. 2 other cards in my name had been quietly maxed out. There were subscription services I'd never heard of, streaming accounts, food delivery apps. Every single charge was linked to my parents' address or Riley's email. This wasn't an accident. This was an entitlement that had hardened into a habit. And then, the final blow. A screenshot that Riley had accidentally forwarded to a group chat I was in. It showed my name at the top of a conversation. Her message underneath read, "Don't worry about the money. Amber exists for that. She's basically our cash cow." I stared at those words. Cash cow, something inside me went still. When the Zoom call opened the next evening, they looked like a panel of judges ready to sentence me. Lorraine didn't waste time on pleasantries. "We don't want to see your face at her graduation," she announced. Her voice was clipped, authoritative. Riley sat next to her, arms crossed, looking smug, like she had earned the right to exclude me. "This isn't about you," Lorraine continued, waving her hand dismissively. "Don't make it about you. Riley needs a peaceful day." Riley chimed in, "Yeah, you always make everything tense. Just stay home. It's better for everyone." Victor looked at the floor. Once, this would have destroyed me. I would have apologized. I would have begged to come. I would have tried to fix the imaginary problem they created. But the insult, the theft, the cash cow text, it all clicked into place like a lock turning. My voice came out low and steady. "Then you'll never see my money again." Lorraine blinked. It was as if the words didn't compute in her brain. Riley scoffed. But I meant every syllable. That sentence didn't just leave my mouth, it left a life I was finished living. I ended the Zoom call. The apartment was strangely quiet. For the first time in years, I didn't rush to fix it. I sat there and let the silence settle over me like a blanket. Then, I opened my laptop. I logged into the university tuition portal. Riley's account was sitting there, bright and expectant. Pending, 1 semester. The payment was scheduled under my name. My fingers hovered over the mouse. I wasn't trembling. I was just aware. When the Zoom call opened the next evening, they looked like a panel of judges ready to sentence me. Lorraine didn't waste time on pleasantries. "We don't want to see your face at her graduation," she announced. Her voice was clipped, authoritative. Riley sat next to her, arms crossed, looking smug, like she had earned the right to exclude me. "This isn't about you," Lorraine continued, waving her hand dismissively. "Don't make it about you. Riley needs a peaceful day." Riley chimed in, "Yeah, you always make everything tense. Just stay home. It's better for everyone." Victor looked at the floor. Once, this would have destroyed me. I would have apologized. I would have begged to come. I would have tried to fix the imaginary problem they created. But the insult, the theft, the cash cow text, it all clicked into place like a lock turning. My voice came out low and steady. "Then you'll never see my money again." Lorraine blinked. It was as if the words didn't compute in her brain. Riley scoffed. But I meant every syllable. That sentence didn't just leave my mouth, it left a life I was finished living. I ended the Zoom call. The apartment was strangely quiet. For the first time in years, I didn't rush to fix it. I sat there and let the silence settle over me like a blanket. Then, I opened my laptop. I logged into the university tuition portal. Riley's account was sitting there, bright and expectant. Pending, 1 semester. The payment was scheduled under my name. My fingers hovered over the mouse. I wasn't trembling. I was just aware. I clicked cancel plan. A single button. A quiet click. Years of obligation dissolved in an instant. Next, the bank dashboard. I pulled up the 3 cards tied to my identity that they had been using. I saw the purchases linked to Riley's email and Lorraine's shipping address. I froze every single account. One by one. The system chimed with confirmations. Then I went to the digital accounts. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify, Amazon Prime. I removed the connected devices, Riley's iPhone, Lorraine's iPad. I changed the passwords they had been using for years. It didn't feel like anger. It felt like clarity. I spent the rest of the night creating a folder. I wasn't doing this to be petty, I was doing it to see the truth. I compiled every bill, every statement, every transaction. It was a dossier of exploitation. It wasn't support, it was theft dressed up as family duty. While organizing the files, I found an old audio file on my cloud drive. It was a recording from a pocket dial speaker call months ago that I had forgotten to delete. I played it. Lorraine's voice was light, amused. Riley was laughing in the background. "She'll pay," Lorraine said on the recording. "She always pays," Riley replied. Then, a joke I hadn't heard until now, "It's basically her purpose." I closed the file. The words pulsed through me. Basically her purpose. My phone buzzed. A text from Riley, "Did the payment go through?" "I can't see it." Then Lorraine, "Don't be childish. Fix this." Then Victor, "Just breathe. Don't make things worse." Worse. As if the worst thing I had done was finally say no. I didn't respond. I ignored them all. I stood up. The sky outside was a deep navy blue. I felt lighter than I had in a decade. They thought cutting me out of the celebration would make me feel small. But all it did was make room for me to finally step out of their shadow. 3 days passed. Then, Lorraine demanded another family meeting. The email subject line was urgent. But it was the urgency of someone losing control, not someone in danger. I clicked the link. I wanted to see how far they would push. They were already there. Lorraine was center stage, chin lifted, presiding over the court. Riley was lounging beside her, her makeup flawless but her eyes tight with irritation. Victor hovered in the back, looking small. "We need to address your behavior," Lorraine snapped. I said nothing. Silence was a new language for me, and they didn't know how to translate it. "Riley's graduation is in less than 2 weeks, Lorraine continued. "They won't let her walk unless the outstanding balance is paid. You know this. You've always handled it. So fix it." Riley rolled her eyes. "I don't get why you're making this a big deal. You're the one with the career. Just do what you always do." There it was. They honestly didn't see the problem. Or maybe they did, and they just didn't care. "I'm not paying," I said calmly. Lorraine smirked. "Don't be ridiculous. You're angry, fine. But don't sabotage your sister out of spite." "I'm not sabotaging her," I replied. "I'm stepping out of a role I never agreed to play." Victor finally spoke up. "Let's not escalate. We can talk this through." "Talk?" I laughed softly. "You never talk. You only tell." Riley scoffed. "This is so dramatic. You act like we've done something to you." I clicked a button on my screen. A window opened, my truth folder. "What is this?" Lorraine demanded. "The truth," I said. I shared my screen. The rows of data filled the view. The unauthorized purchases. The recurring charges. The cards linked to Riley's email. The grocery card used for luxury items. Riley's mouth tightened. Lorraine's face went stiff. A flicker of fear passed through her eyes. Amber, you could have just talked to us, Victor said weakly. I tried, I said. 4 years. Then I played the audio note. Lorraine's voice echoed through their speakers, she'll pay. Riley's laugh, she always pays. And then the kicker, it's basically her purpose. The silence that followed was heavy. Even Riley's fake confidence crumbled. Lorraine tried to pivot. I can't believe you recorded us. I didn't, I said. It was automatic. But I listened. Riley crossed her arms. You're blowing this out of proportion. Proportion? I repeated. You stole my identity. You used my credit. You impersonated me to reinstate the tuition plan. The school emailed me about the login attempt. That landed hard. Riley flushed red. That was a misunderstanding. It was fraud, I corrected her. And I am choosing not to press charges. For now. Lorraine slammed her hand on the table. Charges against your own sister? What is wrong with you? What is wrong, I said, is that you raised her to believe she could do it. Amber, we didn't know it got this far, Victor whispered. Yes, you did, I said. You just didn't want to stop it. Lorraine tried to regain command. Enough. You are not destroying this family. Riley deserves her moment. You owe it to us. I leaned into the camera. I don't owe you anything. Riley panicked. So you're just going to let me look stupid on graduation day? You're an adult, I said. Your education is your responsibility. Lorraine shook her head furiously. You've changed. This isn't you. No, I said. This is me without your script. The call fell silent. It was the silence of a regime crumbling. Lorraine tried one last threat. If you walk away now, don't expect this family to welcome you back. I felt that old fear rise up. But then, it just faded away. I'm not walking away from family, I said. I'm walking away from people who never acted like mine. Riley stood up, knocking her chair over. You're selfish. Ungrateful. You've always been jealous of me. Jealous of the person who weaponized my generosity? I asked. I hope someday you understand the difference between support and exploitation. Lorraine glared at me. You'll regret this. Maybe once I would have, I said. But I already did my regretting. I'm done. I hovered over the leave meeting button. I looked at their faces one last time. Anger. Confusion. Fear. I wish you well, I said softly. But I'm finished being the one who pays for your peace. I clicked the button. The screen went dark. And for the first time in my life, my real life began. In the weeks that followed, the silence was strange. No demands. No guilt trips. Just peace. The update came from the university. It was a polite notice confirming that due to unresolved payments and an attempted impersonation on the account, Riley would not be permitted to participate in the ceremony. Someone had finally told her no. I didn't celebrate. I just sat in my Seattle apartment, letting the sunlight hit the floor, feeling the weight of 8 years lifting off my shoulders. A few days later, my father, Victor, showed up unannounced. He stood in my lobby looking tired. He didn't try to hug me. She's devastated, he said. Your mother is pretending everything is fine, but it's not. We didn't realize how much we leaned on you. You leaned because I never stepped aside, I told him. Are you coming back? He asked. Not unless the terms change, I said. He nodded. He didn't argue. He left with a quiet goodbye. And for once, the silence he left behind felt like mine. I used to believe that family meant endurance. I thought loving them meant letting them drain me dry. But the day they told me I wasn't welcome was the day I learned that love without respect isn't love at all. I walked away. And in that empty space, I found the one person I had been missing my whole life, myself. If any part of my story echoes yours, please share it in the comments. You are not alone. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this.